Alright, so we've done mod videos for the Red Guards, Bosmer and Khajiit, and now it's time to bless another one of the races of Skyrim. I always try to pick the races that haven't really had that much of a presence in the base game. You know, races I feel aren't properly shown off and have more to offer. And since we did the beast race of Khajiit in the last video, it is only fair that we continue on with the next beast race. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to take a look at the very best Argonian mods to showcase the greatness of these reptilian people from the marshy province of Black Marsh. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't actually have that much experience with this race. I haven't really used them too much in my Skyrim playthroughs, so I'm excited about this. As for a short little introduction, these natives of Black Marsh, also known as Argonians, are reptilian people completely unrelated to man. They've actually got this special connection to these sentient trees called the Hist, which they believe to be the source of all life. So much so that the Argonians lay their eggs near the Hist trees to hatch. Yes, you heard that right. Argonians lay eggs. Now what does this mean? How do they lay these eggs? What would happen if they had sexual intercourse with a human race or Khajiit? Yeah, I'm just gonna stop with these questions as I'm getting some weird stuff going on in my head. Enigmatic and intelligent, the Argonians are experts of guerrilla tactics, but due to their history of slavery under the Dunmer, they keep mostly to themselves in their swampy homeland. Here they've developed immunities to all kinds of diseases as well as some resistance to poison. They can also breathe underwater, so yeah, this is certainly a very interesting race, and we're gonna get into all that and more as we check out the best Skyrim mods for the Argonian race. First of all, as I always quickly mention in the beginning of all my Skyrim race overhaul mods videos like this, you should all go download Imperious Races of Skyrim. It's one of the most downloaded mods on Nexus and a very important part of my load order. It makes the Races of Skyrim more unique and diverse by overhauling abilities and powers as well as stats. So the Argonian racial stats look like this, and the abilities include swimming faster and breathing underwater, and an increase of their abilities after getting out of water, so the mod keeps things really immersive. Now I want to start this video off by showcasing a couple of mods that make the most drastic changes in the way your Argonians will look in-game, and to do that I need some Argonians. So meet Artiana, the female Argonian, and Ironclaws, the chattest Argonian to ever exist. First up, we've got two variations of the same mod, female Dragonic Argonian and male Dragonic Argonian textures 4K 2K for SOS and Vanilla, as well as CBBE and UNP. This is an overall very solid and grounded overhaul of the Argonian textures. As you can see, the textures look more crisp and are of higher quality. Their skin looks more textured, you know. I feel like I'm able to get a feel of what it's like to run my hand on their scaly backs just by looking. Their skin looks more dragon or alligator like. The way the torso and the front is a bit lighter than the back is really reminiscent of what you'd see in some zoo when taking a look at the alligators and crocodiles. Now, I had some issues when it came to the male textures. Although the mod author stated that it worked with Schlongs of Skyrim, I still got this clipping issue where the rest of the body wouldn't load up. Now, this may just be an issue caused by a fault from the Schlongs of Skyrim mod, I don't really know, but the textures worked perfectly when I removed it later, and I don't really have a problem with that. It's not like I have to see those Argonian schlongs. Actually, I'm pretty good without them, to be honest. Next is Flaunt's Argonians. Now, out of all the Argonian texture mods I tried out, this is probably my favorite. Now, is that because it makes them look more like Barney? No, not at all, or at least I think so. I just really like how it offers this whole new take on the Argonians, and there's something quite visually appealing about the smoother skin. This overhaul gives Skyrim's Argonians modified head meshes, glowing eyes, and smooth but still scaly skin to keep it all immersive and good. I really like how my boy Ironclaws here turned out. He looks like a total badass, you know, like someone that belongs on the front cover of some kind of Argonian magazine. And damn, Artiana brings a whole new meaning to the Lusty Argonian with that look. I'm also a big fan of what the mod author chose to do with the feet. They look real raptor-like, if I may, and that together with the overall smoothness of the mod makes this a favorite of mine that I'll definitely keep in my load order for future playthroughs. Now, remember in the beginning of the video where I went into the highly philosophical question of what would happen if an Argonian and a human decided to perform the various actions of intimacy performed by two who deeply care about one another? Well, the mod author of this next mod tries to give an answer to that in the form of the mod Fluff's Hybrid Argonians SSE. Yes, ever wanted to make it a little bit more explainable when your parents or someone you care about busts into your room while you've got some explicit Argonian stuff going on the screen? Then this mod is for you, as it makes the Argonians more human by giving them various features such such as human faces and torsos. You could of course deem this mod unimmersive and stray away from giving it a try, but I do believe this could be a very interesting look for some playthrough, or if you love the Argonian race but wanna be able to roleplay and immerse yourself a bit more into the character by making it somewhat look like you. And who knows, maybe it's possible for this kind of specimen to exist. Crazier things have happened in the world of Tamriel. Honestly, these are the kinds of questions that needs to be answered by Mr. Todd Howard and Bethesda. Here's a mod that you probably got a taste of earlier in the mod showcase. This is Argonian Hair Plus, a mod that simply adds 6 additional hairstyles for Argonians. You could look at it as a horn mod, as that is what Argonian hairstyles mostly consist of. The hairstyles look different and offer one somewhat distinct feature. There's an option for some normal type of wavy hair, small horns, medium-sized horns, and some insanely big devilish horns that make all the people of Skyrim bow down in respect of your magnificence. 2 of the styles also feature some interesting details like chains and rings on their horns. This one's my favorite. It looks simple yet quite interesting, and it looks perfect on Iron Claws here. One could say that it'll make all the ladies of Skyrim more horny. Yeah, that was a bad one. I'm sorry. I'll just stand in the corner over here. Argonian Finn's Vanilla Replacer is the next mod to install to make your Argonians look like the true beasts of the swamp they are. This is a replacer add-on for the mod author Chilean Wolf's Argonian Fins mod. It replaces most vanilla Argonian hairstyles with a variety of combinations of fins and horns to provide you with all kinds of options. These fins are reminiscent of what is to be seen in previous Elder Scrolls games. It pairs up really well with Flon's Argonian texture mod from earlier. As this mod isn't standalone, make sure to download the base Argonian Fins mod as well. I'll link both of them together in the description down below. Now that we've altered the way the Argonians look in-game to perfection, it is time to get into some other types of mods. If you're an avid user of the Argonian race, then you probably know there's a lot of minor glitches and bugs that somewhat hinders you from getting that ultimate immersion. You can start fixing that by installing the mod Horns Are Forever Persistent Argonian Horns. In the base vanilla game, it's seriously strange how your horns just vanish when wearing a simple hood. I mean, what is in this fabric for it to be able to hold back massive horns? It must have been crafted by the gods. This mod makes it so that the horns on Argonians will always show except on headgear that covers the entire head. So no more disappearing and reappearing horns. Now they'll be lore friendly and persistent. Ever noticed how the supposed claws of both the Khajiit and the Argonian aren't proper claws, but just long fingernails? That is highly unimmersive, unacceptable, so this ported mod from Aldrim called Better Claws and Gauntlets SSE fixes that and more. Feast your eyes on these proper sharp claws, befit for the fiercest of Argonians. The mod also corrects all kinds of distortions and clipping issues that are to be seen when wearing open-fingered gloves as one of the beast races. No more annoying clipping. Now everything, as the great Todd Howard would say, just works. There's also a patch for it to work with the immersive armors mod you've all probably got in your load orders. I should have mentioned this mod in the Khajiit mods video, but oh well, I've showcased it now, so we're all good. This is a very important mod, as you do spend a lot of your time looking at your character's hands while playing in first person, so this mod is indeed a must when starting your next Argonian playthrough. And not to mention, it pairs up wonderfully with the next mod. Feral Claw Unarmed Attacks for beast races, vampires, werewolves is a very recent mod that I'd probably cover in my new Skyrim mods weekly, which you can of course watch every week. Just remember to subscribe and ring that bell icon. The timing of its upload to Nexus and this video couldn't be more perfect. The mod is an animation replacer for unarmed attacks of Skyrim's beast races as well as vampires and werewolves. Your Argonian will no longer melee like normally. Now they'll properly make use of their claws and natural swiftness to shred their enemies to pieces with these animations. These animations were actually scrapped by the game designers, leaving them in the game files. Now I do not know whose decision that was, but they were wrong to remove them because they look great and really add to that distinction between the beast races from the other ones. These animations can also be applied to vampires and werewolves if that pleases you. Next up is the mod Bat Bigger Argonian Tails SE. Oh yeah, it's time that we make a change to those lanky old tails for wimps and replace them with some mighty powerful ones. This mod simply increases the size of Argonian tails. Tails are a big part of that Argonian look, you know, so it's important that they look good. It is a small mod that makes a noticeable overall change in the way Argonians look in Skyrim, and that of course in a very positive way. It makes it look like actual tails with balancing functions and all that rather than some simple noodle. The new tails look sturdy and befit for the harsh climate of either Black Marsh or Skyrim. The mod is also very compatible with most other Argonian mods as you'll see throughout this video, so yeah, it should definitely be a part of your load order. Now that your your tails are all big and fine, it is important that we take good care of them. I've always found it kinda strange how you're able to cover up your whole body in armor except for the tail, leaving it vulnerable to all kinds of sneaky attacks from behind. The mod Tail Armors fixes that by adding armors for the beast races to wear around their tail. The tail armors are essentially modified gauntlets and boots. They've got 50% the same stats as their gauntlets equivalent to keep it lore friendly. Most of the armor pieces are craftable, and the mod author has made sure to cover all the vanilla armors with these tail armors. Also, remember to download a patch to make it work with the previous mod Bigger Argonian Tails to get this awesome look you see on the screen. The variations are more than enough to cover your needs. All in all, this mod really does add a lot. Your Argonian character will look really good with these tail armors on, so make sure to install it if you ever plan to do an Argonian or Khajiit playthrough. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Argonians lay eggs. Now I refuse to believe that the Argonians of Skyrim don't get down to that good old lovin', which means there should be some Argonian children walking around. So where are they? Argonian Hatchlings Children of Tamriel gives you that answer. It adds Argonian Hatchling Children to Windhelm Docks and to Riften Plankside, which is quite immersive as it means that they've hatched out by the water before their parents dipped, which is actually kinda sad. You'll find the Windhelm Hatchlings working at the docks during the day, you know, getting that hustle in from a young age. Tastes as many colors here, cooks all kinds of things you can buy. Warms all with music, is an up and coming bard that likes to keep the morale of others up during the day by playing some fire tunes on her lute. Share his catch is supposed to be fishing on the docks, but it seems like he's really fond of this wall, I don't know. Seeks Out Silver is keeping her hustle on by training to be a blacksmith and sells all kinds of armors and goods. Okay, good doing business with ya. Have a good— oh god! Jesus, child! Go get some pants on! The two hatchlings of Riften called Shines and Shadows and Hides and Hats trade in a variety of goods, pretty much selling all they're able to get their tiny claws on. They live all alone, outside by the docks, which again is really sad. But hey, at least it's a lot better than living with Grelod the Kind at the orphanage. As I always do in these themed Skyrim mods videos, I make sure to include some bonus mods down in the description for you to check out if you want. If I were to cover them all, this video could last for an eternity, so instead I'll give you a quick roundup of what you can expect from these mods. First, there's a newer mod called EVWSE Female Argonian and Khajiit Beast Race Followers. This adds a bunch of Lusty Argonians for you to use for your companionship in your next adventures. My Little Hatchling SSE Ramku the Adoptable Argonian Boy lets you adopt a small little Argonian child. Beast Race Body Paints SE provides you with a bunch of paints to use on your beast races to make them look different. The mod Draki's Argonian Eyes is also a nice download if you're looking for some alternative Argonian eyes. And of course we've also got Dominion's More Argonians, a mod that adds 20 more unique Argonians to the base Skyrim continent. And if you've ever wondered how the book The Lusty Argonian Maid ended, then make sure to get the real Lusty Argonian Maid to feast your eyes on some wonderful literature. Lastly, there's also the mod Black Marsh, which is the mod you saw in the intro. This mod gives you access to various locations of the Argonians' homeland. Even though there's no questline, there's a lot to explore here and many enemies to face in what is a nice little Argonian themed adventure. And there we have it for the bonus mods. Now it's time to move on to what I believe to be a perfect player home mod for an Argonian playthrough. This is Tristan's Shack SSE. This is a port of a small rustic but very richly decorated player home. You'll find it a bit northeast of Rorikstead. Now keep in mind that this is a player home that does not have any interior cells, so it may be a bit hard to find at first. This is a simple yet cozy player home that gives off that nature feel. It looks very good from the outside with a watermill wheel over a little waterfall and pond for all your fluid necessities. There's a garden where you can do some planting as well as 2 chicken nests and a goat. You'll find most of the tools you'd need to live out here. Integrated into the very house itself is a lumber mill for you to use if it pleases you. As you open the door, you'll be greeted by a lovely interior with lots of little trinkets. There's a lot of different alchemy related things spread out on the various decks and cupboards to make the home feel lived in. The walls are covered with different decorations like paintings of random ass people like folk have hanging on their walls in real life. The kitchen's got everything you need. There's even some cutlery for you to feast your eyes upon in admiration. A double bed is located in a hollow part of the rock the house is built up against at the back, filled with hay and covered with furs and pillows to make for a comfortable space of rest when needed. This just feels right to use as a player home for an Argonian playthrough. Let's just say it truly passes the Argonian vibe. Last up is another mod that provides you with a home. This is Wreck of the Crown Petone Northern Argonian Settlement SSE. You know those orc strongholds scattered throughout Skyrim? I guess you could say this is something like that, only for the Argonians. The mod places a small settlement very far off into the Sea of Ghosts east of Winterhold. A couple of mysterious Argonians have made this shipwreck their home, and when I say mysterious, I really mean mysterious, as they've got their face covered and refuse to utter any word at all. The only response they give you are simple nods, which is great if you're a fan of silence when at home. Many of them won't really care for you, but you can trade with one of them and the mercenary smites and slashes will follow you on your adventures for some coin. Now the settlement is quite simple. It's got all the crafting stations you need scattered around, as well as a bedroll for you to sleep in next to the others. There's also a rooster strutting around with a hat on. Do I know why? No, not really. It doesn't matter. What even is stranger is that at the back of what can be considered as the living room, there's this shrine with a skull on, probably built for one of their fallen companions. There's a lot of mystery in the air here that may intrigue you, and it's also quite nice to be able to live in a settlement full of other Argonians, so do check it out. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen, a bunch of Argonian themed mods to spice up your next playthrough. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Remember to like the video and also leave a comment if you got some other mods to suggest or just want to say something. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss a future Skyrim mods upload. And with that, this has been Gim. May your road lead you to warm sands, everyone. See ya.